Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. And today we have a very special one because we showed you the Corvette, kind of a cool sports car that I have. But of course, living in the Northeast, it's not always easy to drive that thing. So we have today kind of a reveal, unveiling, whatever you want to call it, of my daily driver, which is my 2014 Toyota 4Runner. Now this is an SR5 Premium, but as you can see, I have made some modifications. Now we won't discuss all the modifications that we've done to the car in this video. We'll probably do a separate video. So as far as cars are concerned, I wanted a daily that I could have and drive, rack up the miles and not feel too guilty about. I've owned Volkswagens, I've owned Audis, and for those who are familiar, those cars after about 100,000 miles start crapping the bed. This car that I have here, this example, has 125,000 miles, just reached that earlier this week. So, just barely broken in for a 4Runner. Taking a look here. Look at that color. Look at that color, chap. That's such a nice color. Matches with those wheels that I put on there. And really looks good. Yes, it is dirty. It's been raining like crazy these last couple of days. I did get this car with about 108,000 miles, so roughly put about 20,000 on it, and honestly has been driving flawlessly. This is probably the least maintenance car I'll ever own. Moving on to the interior, of course, this being a SR5 Premium, gets the leather vinyl, I think it's vinyl seats, that do look very good in this car. The two-tone, not a huge fan of, but they still look very presentable. And for, once again, 125,000 miles, I think it looks really good. Those back seats, literally almost brand spanking new. The front seats, still a lot of life in them, but the only actual wear and tear you see is like on the steering wheel, which can get alleviated. I might change that out. I've seen some options where you can have a heated steering wheel, which unfortunately no 4Runner at any price point, at any trim, has heated steering wheel, which is kind of interesting for the type of vehicle. But nevertheless, there is aftermarket capabilities. Now, this being an SR5 Premium, has the navigation, which is super nice to have, as well as heated seats, which some TRD models don't even have. Now, the instrument cluster looks very, simple, yet effective. Nothing wrong with that. What's nice too, in the middle, as you can see in the middle, is a little old school kind of digital display, but it also does display miles per hour, which is kind of a pet peeve of mine. I love cars where the miles per hour is smack dab in the middle of your face. I like that in cars, and it's kind of annoying when it's not featured, but you can go around and kind of look at some primitive, don't look at that gas mileage, some primitive, information that you'll get. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. Once again, this car is a 2014, so it's not going to be the most technologically advanced, but as you can see, it has just over 125,000 miles. It does also have a sunroof, which is still functioning, that's kind of the super cool thing. Everything works for being a 12-year-old car that has over 100,000 miles. You can't say that about most cars these days, which is really cool, and another, once again, reason why I bought it. The transmission, even though it's kind of a clunkier, older transmission, does work perfectly fine. Very smooth shifts, and the handling is kind of like an old truck. That's what it kind of reminds you of, the internal kind of way this thing drives. Very loud. The engine is super loud when you turn it on. You hear a lot of vacuum and stuff like that. The handling's super nice too, even with those off-road tires or all-terrain tires that I did put on. The handling, there's nothing wrong with either. It doesn't compromise it or anything like that. So a very nice car overall. And besides two kind of major, kind of minor complaints, I think this car is almost the perfect daily driver. Now, some things I don't like with this vehicle, there's only really two major ones, and that is the rust situation. You just need to be careful with it. And if you're proactive, it's really not that big of a deal. But taking a look, you obviously see some surface rust on the bolts for the fender liner. Looking around, once again, this is a 12-year-old vehicle, so it's going to show some signs, at least, of surface. And right there is the culprit of kind of the issue, the main Achilles heel of the vehicle, is that little surface rust. Now, that easily can turn into structural if you're not careful, but I do get mine undercoated once per year to make sure, obviously, we avoid that. Now, the second complaint I have with it is what you just saw on the interior, which is the fuel economy, and it is not great, especially as a daily driver. You'd expect more than 15.9, 16 miles per gallon. This car obviously is dated. I think there's some carbon buildup, obviously making it a little less efficient, but I promise you, I don't drive the thing crazy. It literally is just horrible gas mileage, which we might make a video here shortly on maybe a way to help the gas mileage a little bit with a older vehicle like this one here. But those are really the two major complaints, just the rust and the miles per gallon that you're gonna get on these things with gas prices these days. It's kind of rough. But other than that, you're trading off that fuel economy for a reliable car. It's gonna last maybe even 500,000 miles. Like literally, that's my goal with this thing, is to try to get it to last that long, to 500. So that would be pretty cool. But let me know your thoughts. Do I have the two best of both worlds for daily in a sports car, the Corvette and the 4Runner? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. I do plan on making a little bit more car content for you guys here in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.